You said you just made your first million in 2022.
The biggest leverage you can have is the fact that there's only one of you in the whole world. I'm going to be more valuable than I was the day before.
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then when you mix that with experience, that becomes wisdom. Do not skip the part that the person who has talked to the millionaires and become one is trying to teach.
Welcome to the table. Build wealth, life. Welcome to the table.
Fam, I got a question. Are you ready for an April like no other? Well, I want you to get pumped because we're about to make it rain with our April is Lit $20,000 giveaway powered by my friends at SmartWiz. I want you to imagine this. Come closer. You and your ride or die are on a $5,000 vacation of your wildest dreams. Or kickstart your financial future with $1,000 towards an IRA or an investment account. That's pretty sweet, right? But hold on to your seats, baby, because it's about to get even better. I want you to join us for April is Lit Financial Literacy Month, where education meets opportunity. I want you to amp up your financial know-how, treat yourself to a well-deserved breather, and master the art of smart money management. Here's how you can get involved with all this excitement. It's simple. Go to AnthonyONeal.com to register for 100% free. And you gotta subscribe to the YouTube and Apple Podcast channels to qualify for the chance to snag one of these incredible prizes. This is $20,000. So don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Take charge of your financial destiny and stand a chance to win big. Join us for the April is Lit, and let's make this month a month that we cannot forget. Visit AnthonyONeal.com right now to register and check out today's show notes for the link. All right, let's get to today's show. 80% of us are living paycheck to paycheck. I think so many of us are discouraged, like, why has it not happened for me yet? I'm 40 years old, I'm 50 years old, I'm 35 years old, I've been working my butt off, I'm working 9 to 5, I got a side job, I'm a single mom, I'm a single father, I'm doing everything I should be doing, at least I think I am, and it still hasn't clicked. Today's show is gonna be one I need you to dial into. You know, today we have the amazing queen herself, Miss Arlan, is in the building today, who made, her first personal $1 million just 2 years ago. That's right, 2022. She's been in the game for a while. She's generated money since 2016, but she really just came into her wealth at this season, 2022. Y'all check this out. She's 43 years old. I'm super excited to have this conversation because I think sometimes we hear all these 22-year-olds who went online and made $1 million. And then we hear all these other people making $5, $10 million. But we've never really had someone who say, you know what, I just started making money about 2 years ago and I'm 43. So today's gonna be probably one of the realest conversations I've ever had because there's some other things we're gonna talk about. And so I really want you to dial in. But before we get into today's conversation, do me 2 quick things. Number 1, hit that subscribe button, family. I want you to join the E3 community because every single day we're increasing in abundance, wellness, and freedom. And that's what we're having a conversation about. How do we help you increase in abundance, increase in wisdom, increase just in your financial freedom? So join. We're on a path to 1 million subscribers. As soon as we hit 1 million, we're giving away a free car. I don't know what kind of car, but it's going to be a nice one. So hit that subscribe button. And then number 2, I want to thank today's sponsors, Bethel Tech. Bethel Tech is one of today's sponsors who are helping people really get into becoming a net worth millionaire. The top industries when it comes to creating net worth millionaires is the tech industry and it's the creator space. So check out this quick commercial from our friends over there at Bethel Tech. What's going on, fam? I want to thank my friends over at Bethel Tech for sponsoring today's video. Bethel Tech's micro-credential program. Just 15 weeks and you're on your way to mastering in-demand tech skills, setting you apart in today's competitive job market. And the best part, it's all online, 100% online and fitting perfectly into your busy life. Bethel Tech isn't just about tech skills, it's about growing your character through spiritual mentorship and faith groups, shaping you into a Christian leader in the tech world. You'll learn from industry experts geared towards your success. What about landing your dream job? Bethel Tech's graduates are making waves at companies like Salesforce and Dell. And with a price tag of only $5 $5,000, it's an investment in your future that's both affordable and valuable. Are you ready to start? With multiple start dates, there's never been a better time. Visit AnthonyONeal.com/Bethel. Again, that is AnthonyONeal.com/Bethel, and step into your tech career with confidence and character. So Arlan.
Hey.
Arlan.
Yeah.
We're going to get straight into it.
Let's do it.
43 years old. And you said you just made your first million in 2022.
My first personal million, yes.
Personal million in 2022. What do you mean by personal
Well,
million?
I've been generating millions for years. So in 2015, was the last year I was homeless. So I was homeless for a lot of time. You know, growing up, was housing insecurity, so we bounced from couch to couch. But as a grown person, I was actually homeless. I was sleeping on the floor of the San Francisco airport, 2015. And the very next year is when I raised my first $1 million to invest in other BIPOC women, LGBTQ plus founders. I started my fund, Backstage Capital. So I have been raising millions since 2016. I've raised a total of 30 million in that time, invested in more than 200 companies. I also started generating millions around 2018, 2019. I started generating millions for my companies, for other people, and it was 2022 when I could say, actually, more than $1 million came in from me personally.
Wow. Yeah. And how did you feel? I'm curious because, so if that was 2022, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to estimate you was about 41, 40 at the time?
Yeah, I was.
How did you feel?
Well, it's funny because I think of money as such a tool right now. I used to have this very strong relationship, emotional connection to money. It was something that I feared or was scared of. It was something that I hated sometimes, something I lusted after sometimes. Because it caused all this chaos and havoc in my childhood and growing up. It was the thing that made my mom cry. It was the thing that I couldn't have that made me go to school with bad clothes and, get made fun of, have holes in my shoes. So I developed this like toxic relationship with money. And today I don't think of money as anything that has to do with any kind of relationship. It's an inanimate object. Most of the time it's just air. It's just numbers floating back and forth across the screen. And so because it's such a tool to me and it's so detached from me, I can wield it, I can use it when I need it, I can pull it in when I need to, and I can spend it when I need to. That's another thing that I do is I reinvest quite a bit. So there's a lot of my friends out here, you probably know most of them, a lot of my friends in this industry, I kind of roll a different way. Like I pour almost everything back into the companies, somewhat like a Mr. Beast would or Elon Musk does. Pour, you make it, you pour it back in because you know that the big payoff comes later.
Facts. So when I think about back when I made my first $1 million, I was emotional.
Yes. When was that?
When was I make my first personal million? 2021.
Yeah.
My first personal, in pocket.
Exactly, yeah. The year before me.
Yes, ma'am. And so I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm like, I was emotional, but I didn't really feel a huge difference financially.
Yeah, I didn't feel a difference. I'll tell you, when I realized that $1 million had come in, I didn't get emotional, but I'll tell you when I did get emotional.
Oh, okay.
It would have been 2021, 2022. I can't remember exactly, but it was, I purchased Janet Jackson's prize truck at auction in Beverly Hills. And she was doing this 1,500 piece auction, living auction. It was called the centerpiece item because it came with a 10-minute phone call with her. It's the only item that came with the phone call because she needed to tell the person who won it the significance of the car, of the truck. So I went in. This is how I start my book, Your First Million, by the way. You can hear the whole story. But I went in and I won it. It was a total of $114,000. And I burst into tears. And people thought I was crying because it was my hero, Janet. And it is. I was very, very much so touched by that. But I cried because as soon as the gavel hit and I realized I had beat out Kardashians and Christina Aguilera and all these different people who had been bidding, it hit me all at once. I was sleeping on the floor of an airport a few years ago.
You just spent $100,000.
And I was able to walk in here comfortably knowing that I was going to splurge on something here today.
Yeah.
And that I did have a ceiling. I had to say where I would not be able to, rightfully afford it. It wouldn't make sense to.
Right.
But that was my ceiling.
Wow.
And that's when the emotion hit me. So it doesn't necessarily hit you while it's happening.
Facts.
It's some sort of thing that reminds you just how far you've come.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Mine's, the real emotional standpoint didn't come in 2021. I know it came just actually recently, last year, when I looked at my payroll for my staff, my team, the amazing team I'm blessed to have. Last year alone, I just did $683,000 just in paying.
Just in payroll.
Mm-hmm. And when I looked at it, and I told myself when I had the opportunity to step out on my own from leaving Dave Ramsey, I said, man, I wanna eat.
Yeah.
But I also want to God put me in a position to where you can help me bless other Black men and women eat as well.
Yeah.
And it hit me that last year to the point to where it was the first year that I was able to buy out a big old house for a week. That cost me like $20,000 for the week. Hired a chef. Bought all of my seasoned workers $2,000-$3,000 gifts. And flew in some people to teach us and to train us, and I really sewed back into them. And it hit me. My team doesn't know this, but they left. That when they left that morning, I was in tears that afternoon. Not like, oh my God, like what did I? It was like, wow.
No, you were.
I'm in
you
a
were touched by
position.
it. Yeah.
To where I can do this.
Yeah.
And some people who watch this are bigger than us, got 100 employees, right? And I'm like, but for me.
Well, you know that I think it's more than 90% of Black-owned companies don't have employees.
Yeah, yeah.
So just to have one employee changes the game.
It does.
So I can completely understand that. I remember the first time I've had layoffs, I've had ups and downs over the years. I think many of us have.
We all have, and we all will.
Yeah.
It's a part of business.
But I remember the first time I was able to offer health insurance to employees.
Wow.
And that was like, I didn't even have health insurance until when that happened, with the transition of it.
Yeah.
I was getting health insurance, but to be able to offer that, it was meaningful.
It's impactful. I mean, it comes with the headaches. I'm pretty sure, as you and I can agree on that. It comes with headaches, but you're right. We just incorporated as of 2024 401ks with the match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I could do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just puts us in a good position. But I want to talk about this, and I just put it straightforward out there because I just love this conversation.
Sure.
So you are a 43-year-old Black woman in the help me say it correctly.
LGBTQ.
Okay, I got to say this again.
See, when I was younger, it was fewer letters and things. So
absolutely. I don't want to be rude.
Lesbian, gay, bi, trans.
Sexual. No, help me. LGBTQ. Questioning. Got it. All right. So you're 43 years old.
Yes.
Black woman in the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
Plus. And you plus. Okay, help me understand this. What does the plus mean?
Because that's just a few of the definitions of it. It's like saying Black people, we're different shades, we come from different places. It's just representative. And I will have to say, there are so many people in your audience who you may not know identify as that. They may identify out loud, or they may question right now. The
plus side, or just any of it? Okay,
any of it.
Which is why I'm like, y'all want to have a conversation.
Yeah. So I do represent that, and in silos, I get to talk about it. I get to talk about it at Lesbians Who Tech, right?
Okay.
I get to talk about it on certain platforms, but I love the intersectionality. I love talking about it intersectionally. Yeah. Because it's part of my identity, and I'm just as Black as the next person.
I love it. No, I love it. And it's like, for me, and I can be honest with you, it's like me being a Christian-based organization and a show. Sometimes I feel as if sometimes we could do better within that community and loving that community.
Yeah.
While I personally don't subscribe to it, it's like I have friends who are in that community.
Yeah, and no one's asking anybody to be it.
Yes.
Right? We're just saying, no one's saying to the white person, be black.
Right.
In fact, don't.
Right.
But just treat me
Respect.
equally.
Yeah,
treat me equally. And I understand. I grew up in a religious household, and I understand that. And my family's religious. I'll take it even further. I'm going to maybe blow your mind a little bit. I'm also atheist.
Are you?
So I have a podcast I have several podcasts, but one of them is called.
This is good.
One of them is called Demystifying Faith.
Okay.
Where I sit down with people of all faiths.
Okay.
Or as many as I can find. And I sit down for an hour plus and we just talk about it.
Oh, you got to come back and do that with me.
Yeah, I would love to.
Because I went to seminary school to specifically sit down and talk to atheists.
Yes.
Oh, this would be a dope.
My first episode is with Minda Harts, and she's a PK.
Yes.
Know? So that was and then I had a great conversation with Yvette Nicole Brown, the actress.
Yes.
And it was for Your First Million. It was for a different topic. And she found out in that conversation I'm atheist. She said, well, let's talk about that.
Wow.
We sat and talked about that for 45 minutes. And I love having those conversations.
I wish we had more time today.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know this.
I'm rushing, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I got to bring you back on.
I would love it.
Because I think that conversation, the LGBTQ conversation is important. And as a Christian and as an atheist, I would love to be able to sit down and understand why you don't agree with what I believe in. Yeah. Not trying to convince each other to turn, but to have that healthy conversation.
Exactly. And if that couldn't convince me, no one can. Because I'm going to tell you.
I'm with you.
But I think that it's called demystifying faith for a reason. It's almost like it's not as scary as it sounds.
Got you.
And my mother, who I'm going to see very soon, she's 75.
Okay.
And she...
Happy birthday, Mama.
She believes in God.
Right.
Everyone around my family believes in it. My wife believes in it. Okay. Everybody does.
Okay.
I am so grateful that they do. I'm delighted that they do because they have a place to go in those uncertain times. Right. I just don't feel it. I could pretend to. Okay. And I did for a long time. Okay. I could lie to you. Okay. But I don't. And it does keep me from certain things, being authentic. I say be yourself so the people looking for you can find you. Right? It does. Being myself sometimes turns people away. But how am I going to tell somebody else to be themselves and I'm being fake? No, that's real. Yeah. And I appreciate you. Yeah. For being authentic and real. Yeah. Because this is a safe space for you to do that. Yeah. Because I love you even more because you're just being honest about who you are. Yeah. I don't want to say I hate. That was a harsh word. Lord Jesus. I think I dislike it. And for all of you all watching right now, I can say this on my platform. I'm sorry from the Christian community if we made you feel like you couldn't be your authentic self. Because that's not the God that we serve, right? Yeah. That I serve, not my sister, that I serve, right? And so I believe, I welcome you into this place to have a healthy conversation. And today we're talking about money. Yes. So it's like, we can have a healthy conversation. Well, you know what's right now, in my text messages right now this morning on my way here, I'm talking to Kirk Franklin's people about doing something because it goes both ways. Like, absolutely. I don't have a thing where I'm like, oh, because you believe something I don't believe, we can't have this this interaction, this transaction. And I know this is off subject. Now we're gonna stay off. Right. Let's just because we got like 20 more minutes to get you up out of here. Because she got a flight to catch, y'all. So she stopped by in the last minute. She's on her tour promoting her book, man, and she said, "Hey, I want to stop by." So we got to honor her time because it's while we're shooting this today, it's her mother's birthday. Yeah. And so she said, "I'm gonna squeeze in some time to sit down with you, Ayo, and then jet out to go celebrate." Y'all. No, I appreciate you. Y'all made it really easy for me. Okay, so now we're talking about this. 43 black women in the LGBT community, an atheist. And my wife is white. And your wife is white? I'm just waiting to drop that on. Arlan. And she's German. She's white German?
Anything else you want to drop on me?
No, I think that's about it. No, I was a talent wrangler on Sunday Best for Leandria's.
Leandria Johnson.
For her season.
Okay.
That whole season. Goldwire, Mr. Goldwire is still alive. I was so happy to see that the other day.
Man.
He was delightful. He was just a lovely person. But that was years ago. I was the production coordinator for the Kingsmen tour, Kirk Franklin and all the people.
Man.
Yeah, I was. I was on the road with them for months.
Wow.
And 40 people on stage at any given time, and we had the conversations in the back of the tour buses, right? We would do the show to an arena. Mm-hmm. Everybody would pile on the tour buses, and then there'd be 5, 6 of some musicians and some artists, and we would sit in the back of the bus and talk about this one person, me, being the atheist on that tour bus. Wow. And it was so profoundly compelling to me. There was so much love, and it was so beautiful. And every 2 seconds, somebody was breaking out into prayer. I would just step back and just, put my head down and be quiet. And there was a respect that was mutual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how with all of these things, right, of who you are and how you're coming to the table, what would you say? Because while you have all that, you have other people who have other things as well, right? I think one of the dopest things about you is that you're 43 and you're proud to be 43.
Oh, yes.
And you're not ashamed to say, I just made my first million 2 years ago.
Yes.
That was 41.
Yeah.
How do we get there? Like, someone watching this right now who is feeling like, I can't get there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have some obstacles that some people say, well, just because you're a Christian, I can't work. Not a Christian, I can't work with you. Just because you're in this community, I can't work with you. Or it's like you have some of these small obstacles, which I think are just who you are. Yeah. Shouldn't stop you from being able to work with someone. But how did you get there?
Well, then there's the bigger obstacle of me being a Black woman, period,
right,
in a white man's world, so to speak. I don't really think of it like that, but that's kind of the way you think of it.
Yeah.
In venture capital.
Ooh,
but going from being homeless and broke, and not having gone to college, not being networked in Silicon Valley or New York or anywhere in the financial districts, and going from that to front cover of Fast Company magazine saying I'm a venture catalyst and I'm breaking down the walls of the boys club of Silicon Valley. Yeah. Like in 3 years that happened, right? On the cover of Black Enterprise right now, actually. And as you are. Yeah, I love it. And so that systemic problem has always been kind of at the forefront.
Okay.
And I think you might be, I have to really think about this, but I think you might be the first person to call out the smaller, like, nuanced things that I have to kind of navigate, like, bombs exploding as I go grenades in the grass,
right?
That I have to also navigate just by being me. And then add on overweight, add on my teeth don't look great, add on my hair was balding up until very recently. I didn't, my hair was different. Mm-hmm. All kinds of stuff going on. But I think the whole point of it, and the whole excitement of it is that anybody watching has something that makes them feel underestimated.
That's so true.
And they can say, well, she can go out there and raise $30 million and invest in 200 companies and generate millions of dollars and inspire thousands of people to start companies. Mm-hmm. I can do the thing that I want to do. Mm-hmm. So it was in taking all of that lived experience and all of the things that make me unique and intersect with each other and saying, okay, I can try to cover this up over here and placate this, or I can just be me and just feel the way I feel and learn every day like we talked about.
Right.
I can learn. I'm going to listen to people.
Yeah.
And then that will be the thing that makes me so unique, that there's a puzzle piece missing that I feel.
That's so good.
And that's what most people can do.
Yeah.
Because I recently said, like, if you think about leverage, the biggest leverage you can have is the fact that there's only one of you in the whole world.
Facts.
Like, think about someone who says, oh, I don't have anything. I can't do anything. You have that. Yeah. Nobody can take that away from you, even twins.
Right.
They can't take that from you. So you start there. You start with that leverage points on the board. There's nobody who is me. And you go from there, and I call it becoming money or being money. Because we know that money attracts money.
Yes.
But what if we don't have money to begin with?
Right.
We become it.
So break that down. How can someone become money if they don't have money to attract money in a healthy way?
Yeah. Oh.
Because I think when people hear you say that, okay, cool, let me go buy the Louis, the Gucci, put it on. No. Yeah. So that way I can attract money. So when you say become money, what do you mean? Become
money, I mean it's very from within.
Okay.
And so I was on food stamps. I had a place to live. I was living with my mom. This was in Pearland, Texas a few years ago. And we didn't know how we were going to pay the rent, so we ended up getting kicked out. Then we went and stayed at a hotel and shared a room, and it was the whole thing. We didn't know. We were happy because when it was Tuesday because they would have free chili.
Yes.
And we knew, okay, we're going to eat.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing we're in. At the same time, I had already decided I want to start a venture fund for underrepresented founders.
Okay.
So I'm living in that world in real life.
Yes.
And up here, I'm like, how do I get above? How do I go through this? So what I did was I realized, okay, what can't they take from me? My identity.
Yep.
They also can't take knowledge and wisdom from me. So if every single day I wake up and I make the determination that I'm going to learn something that helps me stack my skills and my knowledge base, they can't take that from me. I'm going to be more valuable than I was the day before. Okay. And so on and so forth. Okay. And then when you mix that with experience, that becomes wisdom.
Yes.
That combination. So no matter what I was going through, no matter how difficult it was, I'm having all these flashes in my mind of all the things that were going on then. I made it a point to learn something. I would go online, I would watch something, I would read something. I'd walk to the library, walk to Barnes & Noble. I would sit there and read books because I couldn't afford to buy them. No, but I would sit there and read them. I would listen to interviews. I would just study people. I've studied hundreds and hundreds of millionaires and billionaires over the years. And so in 2015, when I got myself into this 2-week boot camp for investors in Silicon Valley at Stanford University. I did all kinds of stuff and it got in, and all sustainably and ethically, because I can't live with myself if I don't do it that way. But when I finally got myself in there, and you can talk about how, but I met a woman named Susan who had money. And the whole thing, everybody had money there. She had money, but she didn't have the information that I had procured over those few years. So we would sit at lunch each of those days and we would just talk. Wow. And over time, over those 2 weeks, she realized, oh, you have information. And in fact, you're willing to go and meet with people and bring in the network. Let me put money into what you're doing. So you can go out and build. So she was my first investor for Backstage Capital. And if I had not come to her with this built up cachet of information, I would have had nothing to offer her because I really didn't have anything to offer her other than that. And I took that $50,000 investment, which was more money than I had ever seen at one time in my life, at 34. I took that and I turned it into $30 million under management at Backstage Capital, person by person by person, by using the same hack, which was, I'm going to keep learning every day, no matter what's going on, no matter how many people say no to me. I'm going to keep learning. Therefore, when I meet the right person, I'll have this information they don't have and I'll be valuable. I'll wrap that up by telling you this. Mark Cuban put in $6 million into Backstage Capital. And I asked him why, when he does not like to invest in other people's funds. And he said, you are in rooms I'll never be in. So he's putting his money to work because he was able to meet me and understand, oh, there's something going on over there, right? So you become money by stacking your skills. You stack your skills by learning every single day, and then you put yourself in rooms. Literally, figuratively. You please don't come up to me and say, oh, I haven't been able to start my company because I couldn't get investment. I get pitched every single day of my life in every single circumstance. Like I was at South by recently and I got pitched hundreds of times, hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating. It happens all of the time. And so many people are working on amazing things, but they are stuck because they can't get someone else to invest in it. And I'm telling you, you have something now. Do something today. Don't wait for somebody to come save you. Do something. Survey your audience. Work on your product. Talk to your customer. Build a mailing list. Build a wait list. Do something that is within your control so that when you meet opportunity, you're ready for it.
Yeah. You know, you're speaking some good stuff here, and I'm quiet because I'm like, you are really on this, and I'm curious inside of your book, what exactly will we get from it? I don't have it here today, and I'm so sorry.
We're going to show it on the screen.
We're going to show it on the screen. But what's inside of this book that can really just transform? Give me three things that's inside the book that can transform our lives.
I've heard from people that it has transformed their lives, and I'm so grateful for that. So one takeaway is that mindset shift that has to happen. And don't skip this part.
Right.
Do not skip the part that the person who has talked to the millionaires and become one is trying to teach you.
Yes.
That's the first thing, because a lot of people don't realize that they can be millionaires. I've met so many, I can tell you, anybody watching this can be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
There's no secret sauce to it. There's no like genius level that you have to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The mindset shift. Then what I do is I take you through, my goal is to take you from 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 100, and so on.
Okay.
So I take you through these action items. So you're not just reading the book, you have a little homework at the end of each section. Yeah, at the end of each section, you have the thing that you need to do to kind of get yourself together to be ready for this. Okay. And the third piece is I want to tell you I'll tell you the mission that I have is to create 1,000 new millionaires over the next decade.
Okay.
And I talk about that towards the end of the why and what we're going to do with that and how we will change the world when we do that and how we're going to track it.
Yes.
And so that's a major piece of it. And my event that's happened is, a big part of that. But I want to point out that somebody might say, well, why isn't everybody just a millionaire because they read your book? Most people will not read it. They'll get it.
But will not read it.
But they won't read it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I think people, there's a drive that's missing in some people.
Absolutely.
And I think that people feel like things are too out of their reach. And so it's a little bit of like aspirational. Sometimes it's people like, I want to support you, so I'm going to get your book. Or sometimes it's, if I have the book around me, at least that'll look like I tried.
Yep.
But so most people won't read it. So the people who read it, most people won't do anything about it.
That's so true. They won't act.
They won't act. So the thing is, if you can simply outlive and outwork your competition, if you make yourself your competition, then you're doing better than 99.9% of people.
Yes.
Because most people who they won't read it all the way through or listen to it on audio, however you like to consume. They just won't. The next group of people who would have read it, but it's like consumed, and that's it. There's no action behind it. So if you're in that small percentage who reads the book, read your books, reads my book, read my books, and then do something about it, that's when you have the people coming up to me, writing me and coming up to me. I read your book. I read your first book. It's About Damn Time in 2020. And I started my new company and we're doing $1 million in revenue each year. This is what happens. So I say I get pitched a lot. I also get that a lot. I get that, boom, I got your book when it first came out on January 1st of this year. And I've already kicked off things and we're already, have my first 3 clients that we're working with. Fortune 500, because they read, they consumed it, but then they acted on it. And I need people to do that.
You know what? I'm telling you, I so wish we had more time because I feel like we got to bring her back on.
I would love that.
Because one, I need y'all to get her book. We're going to put her book inside of today's show notes, right? And I want y'all to really get that and learn, read and apply, read and act now. Because I think one thing that I love about you, like you said, is that you are a Black woman in a white man's space. And it's like you're so inspiring because you're older. And most people in our age bracket tend to give up on going after the wealth. It's like, well, I'm a 40. I ain't got time to be working as hard. But when you really look back at it, a lot of the wealthy people from our generation didn't really get into their wealth until they were in their 40s.
Truly. Like if you know behind the scenes, it's so true.
Exactly.
It's so true.
So I'm
40s, 50s, you still got that time.
You still got the time. Yeah. And I think would you say it's a time or it's just we've gone through life, we've experienced so much, because I believe I'm 39, turning 40 July 1. I believe now I'm smarter than what I was just 2 years ago. Like
100%.
I'm in a whole different space mentally where I look at things differently. I lead differently. I study my word differently from a Christian perspective. Like I see life completely different than I did at 30. Like even, I can say this too on my show, even when you told me you're an atheist, you just threw that on me. My first thought was not, I gotta convert her to be a Christian. I was like, word, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Help me understand why you think that way. Yeah. Like, it's just the maturity in me.
Yeah.
20-year-old would be like, girl, I ain't messing with you. Yeah. You gotta be with my God. Now I'm like, no, I mean, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let me understand. Let me see. Because one of my good friends taught me something. It was listen, learn, love. That's the very first three things. Listen, learn, love my sister. Okay, cool. And it's like, I think if we could listen, learn, and love, we can all come into a lot more wealth.
Agreed. I can't say anything.
I don't think we don't listen.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get the book. We won't listen to your book, though.
That's right. That's right. And it's almost like, I kind of like the fact that there are only a few people who are going to really do it. That's the 1,000. That's the 1,000 because they're going after it.
Yes.
So make sure you're that person.
Yeah.
Make sure you're that person.
Man, listen. Right? Listen, sis, listen. You all right with me. You whenever you have more time, you got to come back to the table because we got to get her in the car in the next 5 minutes, literally, while we're recording this, because I don't want her to be late to Mama's birthday.
No,
you know what I'm saying? She can't miss this flight. Mama turning 75.
She started her own eyewear line at 74.
What?
Yes.
So wait, you made your first million at 43. Mama started her own business at 74?
Correct.
Did you help your mom with that business?
I helped talk her through it.
You talked her through it?
Yeah, but she sells out anytime she does a pop-up. Oprah has a pair. Katy Perry has a pair. She does her thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last sentence. I want you to encourage the ladies watching right now. I have my second largest tribe of people are Black women.
Great.
34 to 44. And a lot of them in that 40 to 50 bracket, right? And I think some of them are discouraged. Like, man, I have invested. Man, all I have is my job. I haven't really done anything major, but I got these great ideas inside of me. Yeah. What would you say to that 45-year-old woman who's looking at this saying, wait, I need more of this. Why are y'all ending this?
Yeah.
Give me something to inspire them.
I think, first of all, you don't have to start a company to be part of the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. You can work with someone else. You can partner. I think partnership and collaboration is one of the top things I've learned from millionaires. But you'll see, that's how they stack.
Facts.
First of all. Second of all, we need you. When I was destitute and kind of floating around, it wasn't my own wealth that kept me going. It wasn't like, I'm going to be rich one day and that's going to keep me going. Wouldn't have been enough. It was the idea of what happens if I can pull this off? How many people will be benefited from it? So if you can find the people who benefit the most from your success, that can be your North Star.
Yes.
And we need you. We need you to be millionaires.
Yes.
Because there's so much we have to make up for that has been against us. So we need more of us to change the trajectory and the quality of our lives together. We need that group. We don't need just the 1 billionaire. We need 1,000 millionaires.
Yes.
Right? So if for no other reason, do it for us. You can do whatever you want with the money. You don't have to, it's not a certain program.
Okay.
But be part of the ecosystem with us. And I think that'll help. Also, I would love to give your audience 3 free months of my masterclass.
Okay.
They go to my LinkedIn page.
Okay.
There is a link in my profile.
Okay.
You just sign up to my newsletter and you have 3 free months of my masterclass, which is normally on sale.
And what is the masterclass about?
It is, so I go module by module.
Okay.
The first module is $0 to $1,000.
Okay.
This is what you do to get that.
Okay.
The next one is 1,000 to 10,000. This is what you do to do that. So wherever you are, some people are like, oh, I've already made my first 100,000. I don't know, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
You skip right over to the 100,000 and up.
Okay.
And it's sectioned off.
Okay.
And the people who have already been taking this are coming through. So we do it a little bit of a challenge, like 7 days, 30 days.
Okay.
And some of it is just sort of self-paced, but all of it is meant to create these millionaires.
Listen, we're going to drop her book in the show notes. We're also going to drop the link to join her free masterclass to her LinkedIn profile there in the show notes. And you guys, we're going to have her back on. We're going to dive more. I want to learn more about everything about Arlan. I just love her spirit. I just love who she is. And thank you for being honest and giving us wisdom. It really does mean a lot. It really does. So y'all, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. We got to get her going so she can go see her mama, her beautiful mama at 75. We'll see y'all on the next show. Peace out.
Welcome to the table. Yeah, yeah. We gon' get real. We gon' get right. Oh, building up wealth. We gon' give life. Welcome to